First, there's the recognition that their current success systems, the networks they used to build their careers, the leadership development programs they did earlier on, are having diminishing returns.
Meaning, the things that were really helpful in getting them to the C-suite or close to it are no longer sufficient to help them navigate the unique, complex challenges they face at the top.
Exactly. Not because those systems were bad, but because the challenges at this altitude are fundamentally different. They require a different kind of support structure. They require the perspective, the strategic rigor, and the specific understanding that really only comes from true peers operating at that same level of influence and complexity.
It's that classic what got you here won't get you there realization, where there is sustained high-impact leadership right at the pinnacle.
Precisely. The second indicator is a clear awareness that this leadership isolation isn't just a personal discomfort, something to tough out. It directly impacts their effectiveness.
Ah, that's a key shift in perspective, isn't it? Moving beyond the frankly understandable personal cost of feeling alone at the top, the stress, the burden, the lack of a real confidant,
Yeah.
to recognizing the tangible impact it's having on the business itself. The source emphasizes that decision quality, innovation capacity, strategic foresight, these are all improved by the right kind of peer engagement.
So a leader is ready for this when they see their own isolation not just as a personal burden to be endured, but as a professional limitation, a strategic drag that needs to be actively solved for the good of their work, their team, their organization.
Exactly. They understand that the problem isn't simply theirs to bear privately, it's actually hindering their ability to lead at their highest possible potential. Solving for isolation becomes a strategic leadership imperative.
Okay, makes sense. And the third indicator.
The third indicator of readiness the article highlights is a genuine willingness, even an eagerness, to engage in both giving and receiving wisdom at this highest level.
Yeah, that's not just about taking.
No. The article is very clear that the effectiveness of the alliance relies entirely on a reciprocal flow. Each member must be willing to offer their hard-won insights as generously as you seek guidance from the others. It's explicitly a model of mutual contribution and collective lifting.
So it's not a program you just join passively to receive help. It requires a real commitment to actively contribute significant value from your own unique executive experience and perspective.
Precisely. It demands a generosity of spirit, a willingness to be open and share what you know, and a commitment to the collective success and growth of the whole group, not just maximizing your individual benefit.
The article sort of encapsulates these indicators, doesn't it? By framing the core question for potential members. It's not, have I achieved enough status to qualify for this supposedly elite group?
Right, it reframes it.
The question is more like, have I recognized that my next level of achievement, my continued growth, my ability to navigate even greater complexity and have even greater impact, depends on accessing the kind of strategic thinking and support that only emerges in a trusted, curated community with equals?
That completely flips the script, doesn't it? It
Yeah.
shifts it from being about past status to being about future need and potential. It's not about proving you belong. It's about recognizing you need this kind of peer engine for your next stage of leadership. Are you ready for what comes after the corner office?
It's a forward-looking perspective, totally focused on future impact and sustainable excellence, which leads us directly to the specific opportunity mentioned in the article, joining the vanguard.
Yes, the source announces the upcoming launch of the very first 0.5% Alliance cohort. It's scheduled to kick off in August 2025.
August 2025.
Okay, that's right. And the structure is laid out. 8 carefully selected women leaders will form this inaugural group. The sessions will be held bi-weekly, designed specifically, they say, to fit the demanding schedules of senior executives while providing consistent, high-impact engagement.
And the article lists specific admission criteria, doesn't it? Something
Yeah.
about team size or budget.
Yeah, it mentions leadership of 20 or more people or managing budgets exceeding 10 million pounds.
Okay. Why those particular numbers? What do they signify in this context? Is it just about being senior?
Well, the source explains the reasoning pretty clearly. It emphasizes it's not about exclusivity just for the sake of it or creating some arbitrary barrier. It's because, as the article states, shared experience at this level creates the transformation we're seeking.
Shared experience at that level.
Okay. So leading a team of 20 plus signifies a certain baseline complexity in people leadership, organizational dynamics, navigating the human side of large-scale change. And managing budgets of £10 plus signifies a certain scale of financial responsibility, strategic resource allocation, and the high stakes that come with multi-million-pound decisions.
So those numbers represent a threshold of complexity, impact, and strategic responsibility that helps ensure everyone in the alliance is operating with a broadly similar scope of challenges, even if their industries are totally different.
Exactly. The criteria seem less about being elite in some vague sense and more about ensuring that the fundamental shared experience of high-stakes, complex leadership is present, which is crucial for that calibrated community model to actually work effectively.
Right. It ensures that when one member brings a challenge, maybe about a huge restructuring or a massive investment decision, the other 7 women immediately grasp the scale, the internal politics involved, the market implications, the personal pressure, because they've navigated comparable landscapes themselves, just maybe in a different sector. That shared foundation of understanding is what allows for the deep strategic rigor and the authentic vulnerability the alliance is built on.
Makes sense. And the stakes for joining this first cohort are also highlighted in the article. Simply due to its limited nature, only 8 spots available globally in this initial group.
Only 8.
And the source makes it clear that once these 8 spots are filled, the next opportunity to join an alliance cohort won't be until sometime in 2026.
Wow. That detail certainly creates a sense of urgency. And it reinforces that this is intended as a highly curated, limited opportunity. It's not some mass program with rolling admissions. It's for women who are ready to commit now to addressing their leadership isolation strategically.
Yeah, it signals intentionality.
And just reiterating the purpose, pulling from the source again, this alliance is explicitly for women who've reached that summit and recognize that their next level of breakthrough requires strategic alliance, not just more solo effort.
For those who understand that the complex challenges they now face are simply too multifaceted, too high stakes for solitary navigation.
And maybe most importantly, for those who are ready to actively work to transform that pervasive detrimental isolation into a powerful strategic advantage. For themselves, yes, but also for their teams and their organizations.
It really sounds like a call to action for leaders who are not only aware of the problem, but are motivated to be part of the solution, not just for themselves, but for their peers, too.
And circling right back to that core idea, the paradox we started with, the article leaves us with a really powerful reframe, I thought. It suggests you actually become a more distinctive, more impactful leader by being less isolated in your thinking.
How so?
Your unique voice, your unique perspective, it doesn't get diluted or averaged out in the alliance. Instead, it becomes clearer, stronger, more influential, precisely because it's been shaped, challenged, and refined in rigorous, trust-based dialogue with these extraordinary peers who are operating at your level. The 0.5% alliance, in this view, doesn't diminish your leadership uniqueness. It reveals it. It sharpens it.
That's a powerful idea, that true strength and distinctiveness at the top comes not from standing alone in magnificent isolation, but from engaging deeply and strategically with other high-caliber minds.
And the article ends this section with a very direct, very challenging question aimed right at the reader, presumably a woman leader, potentially, in this situation. The question isn't whether you need this. The question is whether you're ready to stop carrying the weight of leadership alone.
Oof. That question cuts right to the heart of it, doesn't it? It directly challenges that ingrained, maybe even culturally celebrated idea that leadership at the highest level must be a solitary, stoic, carry-it-all-yourself endeavor.
And that leaves us with a really important thought to ponder as we wrap up this deep dive. We've explored this phenomenon of summit isolation for women at the absolute top, drawing on the compelling insights, the anecdotes, the data from this source material.
Yeah.